Hey crew, I've got the key to this 25 BMW M8 Competition Coupe in this outlandish Borusan Turkish blue, or what I see as Tiffany blue. This week we are going to see what it's like to live with, starting with the spacing in my driveway, which is 16 feet wide by 19.5 feet long. I've got the M8 parked at a slight angle with the front tires just a couple inches in from the edge, sitting next to a new GMC Yukon AT4 that my wife is reviewing. If you want to check out her content, it's at Mobile Mama on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. And just look at the brilliance of this parking job. That tire is right in line with the edge. Could not have done any better myself. And thanks to that parking job, there is plenty of room to walk between the vehicles. Both have power folding door mirrors. That does help. We could get a wagon or double stroller through for our kiddos. And up here at the front, the M8 is parked just back from the gutter at the beginning of my driveway. And because it is pretty low and has the optional carbon fiber package with pieces you would not want to scratch up, I'm glad for these curb ramps to help with that clearance issue. And getting to the back, there is still enough room in front of the hedge to walk on the path to my front door. When first getting inside with the key fob on me, there are two options. You can have it set as it is right now to unlock on approach and lock when you walk away, or you can have that turned off and you just put your hand on the door handle and that will unlock the doors and unfold the door mirrors. This is the first defined notch of door opening, but I have the room so I can go two, and that makes it easier to get in. And I need that because this vehicle has the optional M carbon buckets with these high fixed bolsters here and here that I have to make my way over within a somewhat narrow gap. So slide the leg over, then scoot the butt in and duck the head in the process. I got this down. We're good. Closing up that door. Hello, cabin crew. Thanks for joining for this day in the life in the 25 BMW M8 Comp Coupe. This is the last model year of this current generation M8 before they likely introduce another one. So I want to see from a livability perspective if there's anything that we're really going to miss. I'll begin by firing it up. And that V8 is hopefully something that doesn't change too much with the next generation. And right now I do have the baffles and the exhaust open, so we'll listen to the difference it makes between having them open and having them closed. My goodness. Oh, that sounded good. It didn't take too long before it settled down into a deep, reverberating idle. And I want to contrast this with having those baffles closed. That is much more tame. Regardless, the cold start might ruffle some feathers very early in the morning or coming home late at night, but if you do close up the baffles, this idle shouldn't be too big of an issue. Okay, now let's see where I would stick the items I bring with me every single day. So my iPhone 15 Pro can go on this hidden wireless charging pad, and there's not a lot of room around it, so I don't know if a Pro Max would fit on there. Inside the console, this was a big surprise. It is large enough to hold my 32-ounce water bottle, and there's room around the edges for my sunglasses, and it is felt lined, so I'm not worried about scratching the lenses. And my slimline wallet also fit in here, and I had to put it inside here because there isn't room in the door pocket to hold a big bottle. It would just be a normal water bottle that could fit in there. And the GoPro accessory case, I did need to stick in the glove box, but there was room inside. So I think the storage space inside for the segment of car is really not bad. Let me throw in my seatbelt here, pull the gear selector over into drive, press down on the parking brake so I can roll on forward. Feel the curb ramp on the left, not on the right. And make sure I'm clear here of traffic and of trash can on a trash day. If you get the Connected Drive app, or maybe that's just the subscription with the BMW app, then you can remote start it from there. And that's nice, especially if it's very cold outside or really hot, because you can get the climate control going to just the proper temperature for your initial entry. One other note, if you get these optional M carbon buckets, you only have seat heating, not seat ventilation like you get in the standard seats. You do, regardless, have steering wheel heating, which I want all the time. And yet I am a man of mystery because I like to keep the cabin pretty cool with the climate while I'm heating my hands, and it may be, I don't know, any range from 50 degrees to 90 degrees outside, and I'll still do the same thing. And for that, it is nice that on this older generation of BMW, we still have physical climate controls. So if I want to increase the temperature, I'm going to take this at a bit of an angle here, just to avoid any potential for scraping. We're good. I just press the up temperature button. If I want it cooler, I press the down temp button. If I want more fan speed, I press up here. Down there for the inverse. I mean, it's just obvious, but with new vehicles that sometimes you have to hunt around in the infotainment screen to find the climate settings, this is much more intuitive. And while just putzing around the neighborhood and stuff, it is nice that you can configure your M1 and M2 buttons to pull up a bunch of custom presets so that you don't have to go into setup and choose those every time you get behind the wheel. The way I've configured it is M1 is chill and M2 is crazy. Obviously you don't want crazy in the morning, so I go M1, and it's pretty much everything left in efficient and comfort. And you don't need more than efficient with the throttle response because there's 617 horsepower and 553 pound-feet of torque. It just easily gets up to speed. As for the braking, this car does have the optional carbon ceramics, and so they can be a little bit grabby. Not all carbon ceramics are, these just happen to be a bit. And the squealing that sometimes plagues carbon ceramics is not something I've heard at all. So the only training it requires for around town is just having as fine-tuned an input on the brake to get as smooth of slowing as possible. And then when you're at that stop, the start-stop system is going to trigger on, especially in efficient mode, and kill the motor. But I didn't notice that at all. So I find myself just leaving the system on, but you can turn it off with this physical button here, and that is nice. As for the seat comfort, it might surprise you, but these chairs are, I wouldn't call plush, but they're tolerable. Despite looking ultra aggressive, you have adjustments for the back angle. You can slide it forward or back. You can raise it up or lower it. And importantly, you can adjust how tight the bolsters are to your body within reason. So if I have them as slack as possible, they're still a little on the tighter side. I'm not a beefcake. I work out a little bit, but my back isn't crazy wide, and yet it appears to be about as wide as I would find comfortable for these seats before I was doing canyon carving and I want the bolsters to be tighter in. So if you're on the fringe, you may want to test fit before you buy the carbon buckets. Then as far as my posture at 6 feet tall, I've got plenty of headroom above, and with the power adjustments of the tilt and telescoping steering wheel, I can bring that out to a comfortable position for my hands to rest. And if one were to consider daily driving an M8 Comp, they would be concerned with ride compliance. Is it too firm? The answer is no. So it is jittery, I've got to say that. The rebound is fairly intense, but it is not harsh. So when you go over even a pothole, you're gonna know it's there, but it's not gonna throw out your back. You can move on without experiencing crushing pain. And I think the fact that you can drive a vehicle that looks like this, low to the ground, big wheels, low profile tires, aggressive carbon bucket seats, in relative comforts on all sorts of roads, is a massive win. That's all good. Now take me to coffee. And today I'm trying a new spot. It's called Third Place Coffee, and I'm hoping the name is somewhat ironic, that it actually deserves the gold. And I am going to back into this parking space right here. Looks like I've got plenty of room on either side. Click over and up for reverse. That prompts a high-resolution backup camera. Not quite as sharp as the latest from BMW, but using my trajectory lines and the bird's eye view, I can work my way into the center of the space. Interesting. No parking sensors to tell me how close I am to that curb back there. I'm gonna stop here just to avoid any potential oopsies. Throw it in park, pull up the e-brake, let's get coffee. And thankfully here I can't actually swing the door to that second notch, and that makes it easier to get up. But if I couldn't, then I wouldn't really have the clearance for my knee, so you have to get over that bolster and And well, it just looks a bit awkward. Since it was a new shop, I decided to go with one of their signatures. This is a brown sugar latte. Decaffeinated, of course, because caffeine in my body, well, it's a bit like this paint job. It could be overstimulating, and I like blue cars. I had my CT5V Blackwing in that electric blue color, but this hue of blue, for whatever reason, doesn't really do it for me, and it is very attention-grabbing. So if you're into that sort of thing, then it might be worth the extra $5,000 to get this paint job. Regardless, the styling of the M8 Coupe is terrific. I love all the optional carbon fiber, the blacked out details, the 20-inch multi-spoke wheels with those gold carbon ceramic brake calipers, more carbon fiber for the door mirrors, the roof, the spoiler, and the diffuser. It is a sharp-looking automobile. But getting in with a beverage might be a little difficult. Let's see about this. Leg, bolster, watch the carbon hump in the middle, watch the head. Okay, it's manageable, but you can't do that quickly at all. Hopefully, you're never in a rush. And as for cup holders, those are hidden under here, and they seem to, oh, they've dislodged the lid. They seem to hold on to the beverage quite well, though, and then extract it easy enough for a sip. That's good, but I don't think the name was ironic. It's a third place coffee. You know who I could see rocking this spec of M8 though?
Our daughter, Romy, because she loves this blue.
She does love blue.
But she would never drive something this
took
expensive.
the wind out of my sails. Mobile Mama!
Yes, me too. I like it a lot.
You would look hot driving this car. 100%.
Thank you.
Actually, you did. For the brief moment you just were driving it, I was like, oh. That's
oh.
Nice. Anyway.
Cut the camera. See, I personally wouldn't drive it because of the attention.
Yes.
But it's gorgeous. I think it looks really good.
Yeah, because when you drive in anger, you don't want people to remember. It was that gal in that blue car, and she was driving like a maniac.
I don't drive in anger.
Only sometimes. Inside.
Yes.
What are your impressions?
I think it feels like it's worth a lot of money. It was $180,000, right?
It's just under, it's just under $180,000.
I mean, I wasn't surprised.
Yeah. Well, it's fast. It's crazy fast.
It's very fast, fun to drive.
Yes.
I just think it just looks high end. It has nice quality materials. You've got the carbon fiber, the suede everywhere.
Actually,
it doesn't feel cheap to me.
It doesn't. There aren't any hard plastics really
exactly.
that I mean, it's trying to do the gestures for me to,
exactly.
No, we're not connecting a new device. Thank you.
No, when we get into other cars, it's very obvious, like they cheapened out.
Yeah.
And this
they've got some gloss black here, but
expensive.
It's kind of out of the way.
Right.
They did carbon fiber in the places that you want to look at, and even down here on the door sills. This is like leather. That's not like even injection molding.
That's how it should be for this price range.
Agreed.
Okay?
Agreed. So I'm with you.
I'm
it
happy
does
with it.
look nice. And do you feel like, because this is last generation BMW interior, does
I
it
know.
feel
That's
old?
sad.
Does it feel like they got better, or I don't know?
Of course, it feels old compared to what they have
screens.
now with the curved display.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say I do like the separation. I don't like that this sticks out. Like, this could be well integrated, a little bit better.
I've seen worse with the tacked on stuff, but you're right, it is a little bit hovering.
That feels old school. But I like the buttons. I think if it was blended in a little more seamlessly and you can see all the details up top because it's blocking like the cool details, the stitching, the Bowers and Wilkins system looks amazing.
Yeah.
So, integrate that and we're good.
Yeah. Well, you said I like the separation. I agree with you. I like that it's like driver, cockpit,
yes.
and then everything else.
Yes. People are going back to more traditional homes of like, let's close in the kitchen. Let's have separation of rooms.
Oh my gosh.
And then now, now we're like open concept everything.
That was a great comparison connection. That was solid,
Design.
Really well done. Wasn't expecting it. You've never gone there to the home interior design.
But you know what? You let me sleep in this morning, and today I have the energy to think of cool connections.
Yes. So I'm tired, but she hasn't.
Can you show me the performance?
Yes.
That's what I'm talking
That's
about.
precisely what I was
Can
going
you show
to do.
me as I'm talking
That's
about
the
it?
second time you've taken the wind out of my sails, my dear. I'm not fond of it, but I will be fond of this.
Woo! Oh, sounds
Thump.
good.
Thump.
Yeah, my sunglasses went back. Woo.
I like that. It's the G-force to send the glasses off the head.
Yes. Better feed me before you...
Before she drives in anger. But wait, before food, I have to ask you about the seats. Because, I mean, they look crazy, but what do you think of the comfort?
I actually like being snug in here. It feels very like...
It's like a warm hug.
Yeah,
Mobile Mama likes
like a
to sleep
rocket
with
ship.
a heavy blanket on her. She's that kind of person.
But the room
So
has to be cold.
we actually have that in common. I was just talking about how I always want the steering wheel heating on
See?
because it feels so nice, but I want the AC blasting.
Right.
We were meant for one another.
I feel like this part right here could get annoying, especially if
the
you're
carbon
wearing...
fiber hump. Yes.
Yeah, especially as a woman if you're wearing a dress or shorts. That's going to irritate like your skin. Like that's going to bother you.
Ooh, it's
See?
there.
It's different.
And
In
it is
jeans,
kind
it's
of
fine.
irritating to get into that position.
Right.
Leg over the hump, that kind of deal.
It's definitely like you must be seated like this. If you want to cross your leg, if you want to move over like this, no, forget it.
This is why we get the woman's perspective. I never would have brought that up, as I don't wear skirts.
Back to the accent.
You know what would be difficult, though?
What?
Getting into the back. The back seats. There's like no room back there. Your seat in your position is already given just
Yeah,
like 2
that
or
looks
3
really
inches of
tight.
leg room.
Yes.
We're going to have to try it at some point, though.
No.
Possibly while eating our sandwiches.
Oh,
From
okay.
lunch!
True.
Almost there. Almost there. Almost there. She is starving. I am scared. Oh, look, the stand! Made it just in time before she takes a bite. Well, I promised we'd do it, but I'm already kind of regretting it based
No,
on...
I'm already regretting it, and I'm back here.
Yeah, your reception, that's why. And, you know, getting in is... Well, it's not great.
That's not that bad.
I just don't look forward to getting out. Also, the seat's gonna try to move back to... Yeah, okay.
Oh,
that doesn't feel
you
good.
can't even fit at all.
I really can't fit. Yeah, no adult should be back here.
So you pay for the front seats.
Yeah, pay for the front.
That's it.
Should we have our lunch?
We're staying back here?
I mean, for a little, we should... No, we shouldn't stay here.
Good luck. Let me know how it goes.
It's not good. It's not. I really can't get out. Today, I'm going to be playing at a truly bucket list golf course in San Diego with a friend from Boston who's in town. That is, if my golf clubs fit in the back of the M8. And they do. We're off to a good start. The course in question is Torrey Pines. It's on the PGA Tour, and though obviously my friend Nick, his dad, and even his brother, who is quite a good golfer, are not PGA Tour level golfers, this is still an incredible opportunity at a storied course. The fact that we got a tee time itself is just amazing. And it's also a great excuse to see my friend, who I haven't seen in at least a couple of years. He lives in Boston, and I went to school with him at Boston University. It's also gonna give me about 80 miles of highway driving in each direction, which is plenty of time to see how the M8 Comp does in this environment. And let's begin with the fun stuff. Passing power. I'm gonna hit the M1 button here before I move, oh good heavens, to the lane to my left. Oh, so quickly. Yes, if you spot a gap on the highway, rest assured, you can fill it. And after you've arrived at the lane of your choosing, you back out of the M mode, and I'm gonna quiet up to listen for the cabin volume at these speeds on the concrete slab surface. Which is generating a fair bit of tire hum, but now on the tarmac, it's significantly quieter. So yes, it can be louder on certain surfaces, but for the most part, on tarmac, it's very pleasant. There's not much wind noise. There's not a whole lot of road noise from vehicles around me. And the tire hum isn't bad here. And if you were going to commute in the M8, you would have some driving assistance features to help, like adaptive cruise control with steering assistance. So you can set your speed, adjust your following distance, and then it's gonna stay at that gap. And it's not a full hands-free highway driving system like BMW offers in some other vehicles. It will stay in the center of the lane, even on a curve like this one, before it shows that it wants my hands back on the wheel. There is actually a circumstance where your hands don't have to physically be on the wheel. That is at 40 miles per hour or below, when the Assist Plus mode becomes available and the green light bars show on the wheel, that's going to reduce the fatigue on your way to and from work. And even if you're not in stop and go traffic, you may want to use cruise control to just limit your speed, because if you don't pay attention, hello officer, you will be going a lot quicker than you even realize, because the vehicle is just built for speed. It's built to cover distances at pace, like on the German Autobahn. And in the US, we do have speed limits, so you could be seeing the 5-0. Whether you are commuting or just cruising, you're gonna wanna listen to some music at some point, and this M8 has the optional Bowers & Wilkins Diamond surround sound system, and we'll listen to that, I would love to say via Apple CarPlay, but it doesn't matter what I did. I could not get CarPlay to work with my phone. I restarted my phone, I plugged it in, I tried the wireless function, I turned the car off, let it do a full 15-minute reset, didn't matter, it could not pair up with my phone. So I'm gonna have to just use Bluetooth, and for a moment, grab my phone here and start the music. And that's at about 50% of peak output right there. Let's go up a little more. Okay, so that is a really high quality sound system, and it does have a pretty good balance, a pretty good range. I think the lows are a little bit muddled. The bass is tremendous, but it almost overwhelms. You could play around with that in the settings, I'm sure, and just dial it back a bit. But it's a really good sound system. The highs and mids are clear. It perhaps isn't my favorite that I've heard in the luxury car segment, but I'll tell you one thing, it's got plenty of wattage. It is going to block out all the outside noise, so you can immerse yourself in some good tunes. And I've made it to the Estancia La Jolla Hotel where Nick and his family are staying. We're gonna grab some breakfast before we hit the links. Nick, so good to see you, man.
You as well.
And we just had a really good but slow breakfast. You better have a lot of time if you want to go have breakfast there. And we did not, because we have to get to our tea time. Okay.
Prepare to launch.
Prepare to launch.
Get a lane here.
Woo!
Oh, nice.
That is not bad.
That is, I felt that one.
And a short time later, we have made it to Torrey Pines. I'm ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready to play.
I'm ready to play. It is absolutely gorgeous. We got the crew together here. We got Luke. I haven't even swung a club. Hopefully there's just a moment where I can go try putting first. And after that very brief warm-up, we are just about ready to tee off. Wow. All right, so what am I sitting at? 142 out. Not a terrible drive, honestly.
Beautiful. That's exactly the shot.
Nice on, Nick. Oh, come on. Oh. I saw way more break than that. Wow. Thank you. I feel like I need to do golf cart reviews at this point. I've been in a few of them with the POV camera on.
Yeah.
This is gonna get like a D for me.
I was gonna say a 1.5 out of 5 stars.
It keeps dying at various intervals, and the way they have the geofencing, it will just cut power if you are just ever so slightly off the course. The south course may be more famous, but this north course still provides some crazy good views like this. Got the shoreline right there, the pier, and though the gray day has provided perfect weather for golfing, it does mean that you can't really see the horizon super well. Yeah, I've had worse days, and after our round of golf, Luke shows me what's wrong with my swing.
All right, so, you know, backswing's looking great, right? You can kind of see you're leaning
Pulling back
away from the ball when you need to be shifting your weight forward.
So can you just golf for me from now on? Well, Torrey Pines definitely lived up to expectations. And even though I don't play that often, I did okay. And more than anything, I had tons of fun hanging out with Nick and his family. Today, finally, we're diving into performance, starting with a real-world 0 to 60 test. And you can see there is a bit of moisture falling from the skies, so hopefully this is still a really quick launch with the all-wheel drive system working for us. I've got my race box set up here to record, and all the conditions have been met for launch control when I hit the M2 twice and click it over into manual mode. Foot is pinned to the brake, hit the throttle, build up the revs, let it go. Good Lord, that is violent. 0 to 60 in 3.16 seconds. What's a good launch if it doesn't hurt a little bit, right? Yes, the M8 Comp cooks, but does it also curve? We're gonna find out through this canyon. Oh well. In the four-wheel drive sports setting, the rear bias to the power is felt immediately in how it steps out just a little bit, helps you with the rotation, and the force of acceleration to match is unbelievable. I'm very grateful for these profoundly strong carbon ceramic brakes because the M8 gets traveling very quickly between bends. Oh gosh, I love the rear bias. It makes this car so exciting to drive, and it removes any apprehension about all-wheel drive's notorious understeer. You don't get that at all in the M8 Comp. The steering is lightning quick, super direct, and does have feel built up as you add lock. What a driver's car. It's so stinking fast and so tractable. Needed a minute. This is crazy. At 4,200 pounds, this car is not that light, but relative to the now heavier hybrid-laden M5 as an example, it does feel light. Through the curves, it just dances. And it does so without any trickery of rear wheel steering or anything of the like. It's just good tuning of the suspension, the chassis, the steering, the all-wheel drive system, and this 8-speed automatic, which I'm now using in manual mode and loving, apart from perhaps the feel of these plasticky paddles. Everything else is great, so quick. I know the next generation M8 will be fast. I know it'll be fun as well. But what I will likely miss from this car is the liveliness. But I'm enjoying it now. But I can't enjoy it forever because at full tilt, you will drain this 20.1 gallon tank really quickly. If we did get the EPA estimated 15 mpg city, 22 highway, and 17 combined, there would be a fuel range of about 442 miles. And in fact, over the last 275 miles, I have been averaging about 17 combined, though I do think it was weighted more heavily by the long highway drive to and from San Diego. But let's go ahead and top up the tank. And at current fuel prices of $5.27 for the required 91 octane gas, it's gonna cost me $106 to fill this tank, and there isn't capless fueling, so I have to work just a little bit harder. It's just occurred to me, I have not talked about some key pieces of drivability in this car, like the turn signal sound, which is classic BMW, I like that. Turning radius, wheel is fully pivoted, and, well, there's a lot of room here, but the turning circle itself it's fine, workable for sure. And now let's say someone is driving recklessly on the road. What are they doing? They deserve a horn beep. And what are they gonna hear? It's so proper. It gets the message across. You release the frustration. They change their behavior. We saw that the M8 can fit some clubs, but can it fit a Costco Run? Man, it got hot out here. I'm gonna do remote start and get that climate control just where I want it. Nice. Now, if this were a sedan or a small SUV, then a Costco Run like this one would be a walk in the park, but how does a coupe like the M8 handle it? Wow, without even needing to pull on these two tabs and fold down those rear seats? The answer is effortlessly. So after returning my cart like a responsible shopper, I can confirm that the BMW M8 Competition Coupe is Costco, soft close, approved. Well, crew, at the beginning of this video, I pondered what I'd miss from the current M8 competition when the next generation comes out. And after quality time spent behind the wheel, I am reminded of at least a few characteristics I wish wouldn't change. Physical controls are falling out of favor with interior car design, but having them here does cut down on distraction while driving and even frustration, except when Apple CarPlay doesn't work. And speaking of interior design, the M8 Competition's cabin looks and feels worth the as-tested $176 grand. The optional carbon bucket seats are a chore to get in and out of, and they're missing seat ventilation, but they're surprisingly comfortable, and so is the ride quality. If the next gen M8 gets a plug-in hybrid powertrain like the new M5, it won't feel as light and lively to drive in the canyons, and trunk space might be compromised by those hybrid components. Technology, efficiency, and power are all bound to improve with the next gen M8, but this current car is a daily driving treasure. I hope you guys have enjoyed this day in the life, and I will see you again next time.